I have created the most average player ever in Football Manager 2024, and we are going to see how Mr. Average's career pans out. So, in creating the most average player ever, I've given him tens for all of his attributes. I don't actually know if 10 is the most average attribute, but given that it's the middle between 1 and 20, I figure 10 is a good average set point. So he has tens for all of his attributes. And having tens for all of his attributes does mean that he has a lower current ability than I expected. I thought his current ability would be around 100, given that it's the midpoint between 1 and 200. But his current ability is only 64, which is a little bit low. So I'm curious to see how his career will pan out given that. I've also given him pretty mid hidden attributes, so he has tens for everything. To compound upon that, we've also got an average height and weight for a male. So he's a very average person, which I think is reflected in his balanced personality. I've also put him as the most mid position on the field. So he's a central midfielder. So he's a mid midfielder, so to speak. And to add on to all of that, his birthday is July 2nd, 2007, which is the midpoint of the year. So this is an average, middle of the road guy. And Mr. Average will be starting off his career, of course, as a Filipino, because I am curious to see whether he'll make it into the Filipino national team and get any caps. But he is starting at Bristol Rovers. And the reason that we have him starting at Bristol Rovers is because in the Football League, Bristol Rovers are in Sky Bet League 1. So, below Sky Bet League 1, we have the Vanarama National League, then we have Sky Bet League 2, then we have Sky Bet League 1, and then above the Championship and English Premier League. So we're in the middle of the Football League, and we are also, Bristol Rovers is predicted to finish 12th, which is distinctly mid-table in a 24-team league. So we have Mr. Average, who is playing at the most mid club in England, and he's got pretty mid attributes and everything. So we are going to see how his career pans out. At the time, he's just 16, so I don't expect him to do much early. I should note I have also frozen his attributes, so we will be seeing the most average player across an average career. And I believe the average length of a career is 8 years. So I'm curious to see if Mr. Average plays 8 years of football. So at just 16 years old, I don't think he's going to do a whole much. So why don't we go 5 years into the future to when Mr. Average is 21 years old, and we'll see if he's broken into the first team. So I'm going to jump forward, and I will see you all then. Welcome back. We are in 2028, and Mr. Average has moved clubs. He is at Havant and Waterlooville in the Vanarama National League South. We are in a much different position. How did Havant and Waterlooville do last season? Um, did they get relegated from the Vanarama National League? Oh, no, 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 they didn't. They finished 14th, and they were a mid-table side in the Vanarama National League South. It seems that Mr. Average has found his level. So taking a look at him, he's gotten some injuries, unfortunately for him, so his bravery has gone down, but otherwise, he's been exactly the same. It looks like he's also learned how to play central defender, so he's playing in the middle defensive position. But importantly, oh, he hasn't played a game yet. He has played 0 matches. Well, this is interesting. He hasn't broken in. Mr. Average in the English Football League system has not broken into, he's not good enough to break into a squad. Well, this is interesting. 5 years in, we have nothing to report. Okay. Well, this was an unexpected surprise, so we are going to move forward in time then. So we're 5 years into the future. Mr. Average hasn't done anything. Let's just keep going and see when he does make his first team debut. All right, 1 year into the future, and Mr. Average has had a very interesting career now because he has moved to the Philippines and he is now playing for Aguilas in the Philippines. And he will be transferring to Kaya, who of course are one of the best teams in the Philippines Football League. But this is what our average player looks like, still the same. Looks like he's being retrained. Interestingly, he has made his Filipino debut. 4 caps and 1 goal for the Philippines. So I'm very happy to see him making his Philippines national team debut. But looking to see how he did, he was honestly pretty poor for Havat and Waterlooville. He made 2 appearances, only a 6.5 average rating. But he moved to the Philippines and he's played 34 matches, 3 goals, 6 assists, 1 player of the match award, and a 7.59 average rating. So while he couldn't really cut it in the English Football League system, Mr. Average has found his way over to the Philippines where he has done well there. So we are going to see whether he is able to continue his journey in the Philippines Football League system and playing for Kaya there. But let's look at his milestones. And he made his senior debut for Havat and Waterlooville, and he played for the Philippines against Brunei, where he had his first cap and his first goal. So, even though he's really not that great, he's got his way into the Philippines national team, and he's making £200 per week for Kaya. I'd say he's doing pretty all right. So, with that, why don't we move forward another 5 seasons and we'll see how he's doing in the prime of his career. Well, everyone, we did not make it 5 seasons. 3 seasons later, at the age of 24, this is the last time we see Mr. Average in the database. As we can see here, he's asking to leave because he wants to move to a bigger club. He ends up being released. He does not find a new club and eventually leaves the database. So this is the last time we see Mr. Average playing for Kaya. Let's see how he does. He still is our average player, but he does get 19 caps and 2 goals. So he actually ends up having a very good national team career, which I'm very happy to see. Let's look at his career stats. And overall in the Philippines Football League, he's been above average, maybe average to above average. I'd say the 6.99 rating's pretty average, but above 7 in the other 2 seasons. So maybe an above average Philippines Football League career. So very good for him. Let's see his milestones. Did he win anything? So signed by Kaya, and he was the Philippines Football League Young Player of the Year, Football League Player of the Year, but he never won the Philippines Football League. He won it there, but he never won it. Let's keep looking through. Sunggihan there. Mr. Average did make the Team of the Year, so he did well there. He was, of course, the Player of the Year, which he didn't really do that well. I'm kind of surprised he won Player of the Year. But looking at their history, past winners, they never won it. It looks like they won it right before he got there. So Mr. Average ends his career having never won a trophy. And sure enough, looking at his biography, he never won a trophy. But 53 appearances for Kaya, 8 league goals. He made 2 appearances for Havant and Waterlooville and 34 for Aguilas. So overall, he didn't do too bad. Young Player of the Year and Football League Player of the Year. And of course, he made 19 appearances and 2 goals for his country. So overall, he didn't have a bad career. And how many seasons did he end up playing? The average career is 8 years. He really only played maybe 4 years in total. But I guess in total, his career was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He played 8 seasons in total. So I guess this is what an average career looks like. I mean, he didn't make appearances in all 8 seasons, but his professional career I'm not counting this year, so his professional career was 8 years in total. So he had an average career. What an interesting and kind of coincidental scenario. He had an 8 season career. Well, that's it. That was the career of Mr. Average. We gave a player tens for all of their attributes, made them a center mid, and made them super average at everything, super mid at everything. And they weren't very good, if I'm going to be honest. He didn't really make it in the English Football League system, but he went to the Philippines Football League. From there, had a fairly successful career and even had some caps for the Philippines national team. So overall, it's a career that I certainly would take, but it wasn't the best career of all time. So I guess maybe it was pretty average. Well, I will leave his biography up for you all to look at, but thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed this Football Manager 2024 experiment, and I will see you all next time. Bye!